What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hands-On channel. We're over here at my land, maybe a future camping spot we've got set up here. And as I've been kind of picking up junk and I'm getting ready to take another run to the scrap metal yard and get rid of some more stuff, we've just been picking up junk basically the whole time we've owned this place. That's been our primary objective, because these people that we bought it from had crap scattered everywhere. They didn't take care of the land. They didn't, follow the basic rules of, like, I mean, it even says so in the Bible that you're supposed to be a good steward of the land, but, whatever. They didn't do that. And that's one of the reasons I was able to afford to buy this land, was because, someone had neglected it. So as I was thinking about that and the conditions that this place was left in and stuff like that, and it was like they hated the place. It was like they had something against the land. I mean, it's one thing to have a junkyard, and we're actually building one now, because not all the stuff that they threw out was necessarily bad. Some of the stuff I can use for the farm, but you don't want it scattered all over the place so that you have to, wonder where in the hell it is, or lose it out in the grass, and then you hit it with a machine like a tractor or a brush hog or something. And that's terrible, right? I mean, so a little bit of forethought goes a long way on, keeping your equipment protected and keeping your land beautiful and just being a good steward of the land, right? And as I was thinking about all that different stuff, and as I was thinking about, what I'm going to do here and how I'd like to develop this place, it suddenly hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I mean, we're on the razor's edge right now. We are on the razor's edge of whether or not we're going to remain a constitutional republic, or if we're going to go further down the Marxist path that we've already been on for like the last 50 or 60 years here in this country. In some cases, it's full-blown communism. In other cases, it's socialism. But either way, it's anti-Americanism, it's anti-capitalism, it's definitely anti-self-governance and stuff like that. It takes the ideology of collectivism and embraces that. And I'm an anti-collectivist. And it's not that I don't want the collective to do good, it's that I don't want to be tied to that. I'm an independent-minded person. Maybe it's just the way that I was raised, the way that I grew up thinking about this country, being out in the woods and stuff like that. It just makes me, up until this point, I've always been proud to be an American, except for, the last 3.5, 4 years have been pretty awful. And we've seen what happens when you have a person that comes in and puts value on the wrong things, right? Biden came in, and what did he value? He valued, this Green New Deal and cutting emissions, cutting gasoline engines. All of that stuff plays into your ability to remain and become self-reliant. I mean, gasoline engines has been one of the most important factors in the development and the shaping and the construction of the United States of America. It's been extremely critical and important to our growth, our wealth. Everything hinges around that, and they've been trying to cut fossil fuel use and all this stuff. And I'm actually not against trying to reduce it, but then you think about some of the things that, I've heard this so many times that I believe there's at least a kernel of truth to this. How many videos have you guys watched where some guy comes out with some new technology? Like, I remember it from a long time ago, even before the internet. These people that supposedly had a carburetor that you could install on any gasoline engine and get like 100 miles a gallon, or nearly, because of the way they figured out how to like atomize it and stuff like this. I've been seeing this other guy. Is it Randall Carlson? I think it might be Randall Carlson. He's been talking here lately about some new type of a generator system, and I don't really fully understand how it works, but it's supposed to revolutionize how we produce energy and how we can do it on a much smaller scale and individually as an independent, self-sustaining, self-contained power generation platform, getting way more power out of a standard generator off very little fuel and stuff like this. Again, I've just barely scratched the surface on that stuff, but this video is not about that. The video is about how our government for whatever reason, has decided to suppress a lot of that kind of technology, okay? We all know it's true. If you don't believe me, that there's something to be at least suspicious about, okay, maybe you don't believe that there ever was a 100 mile per gallon carburetor, but you can at least admit that there's some reason that the government back in the 60s or 70s, maybe it was the early 80s, I don't remember, but a while back, they developed this thing where patents have to go through them if they pertain to certain types of technology. One of them was like perpetual motion. One of them, it was like all that sort of stuff that would, you know, like a 100 mile per gallon carburetor or something like that. Some sort of development like that. The federal government will not issue a patent on that. So the only way something like that's ever going to get out into the public is if someone, out of the kindness of their heart or for the betterment of humanity, decides to give that to the internet and just lets it go and lets everyone develop it themselves, gives them the technology and the strategies and what parts they need to buy and shows them how to assemble it and says, here you go. If you want to be independent and free and you want to make your own energy, do this and you can have it. But even then, before that happened, let's say Elon Musk, because it would take someone that was already super wealthy to not be thinking about the money to be made on such a device, right? So let's say it's Elon Musk and they've got something like that and he gives it away to the people, or he's about to. If anyone in his inner circle leaked that information to the government, they would probably kill him. They would certainly shut him up one way or the other. They might not have to kill him. Maybe they could go show up at a meeting and be like, oh, hey, yeah, we caught wind from one of our insiders that works here at your company that you're thinking about doing this whole, you know, free energy thing for everyone and just giving it away to humanity. No, sir, you're not doing that, because you know why? That would make the entire power energy structure collapse all around the country. You know, at least people that are selling electricity and stuff. And see, the government has lobbyists and such. These people that are in the, you know, especially the elected officials, they're getting visited by lobbyists multiple times a day. It's unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. You know, it's not we the people, it's the lobbyists, the NGOs, the, you know, all these other groups, these think tank groups and stuff like this. These are the people that are actually not only influencing your politicians, your elected officials. Not only that, they control the deep state and they also write the legislation. That's how it's possible that they can come out with these 3 and 5 and 10,000 page bills that are completely stuffed full of pork, is the bill is already written. Not by the people that are the lawmakers that are supposed to be writing the laws. No, no, no. No, I wish it was like that. I'm not saying that never happens, but oftentimes when a huge bill, you know, back when Obama was around and a few years after that, the omnibus stuff, all that crap, Obamacare, all that stuff. Obamacare was written up by the NGOs, the think tanks, and the medical lobby. That's who it was. They already had the bill written up. And it wasn't for, you know, what really bugs me and should bug all of you is it's never about what's best for the American citizen, top to bottom. No, no. It's always about how am I going to line my pockets and get more and more money. And I don't know how we ever get the money out of politics. I don't think it's even possible at this point. But what this video is about is we're on the razor's edge. On one side of the razor, you got Trump. You've got traditional classical Americanism. I don't think the guy's a conservative. I wish he would do more conservative stuff, but he kind of governed conservative in his first term, okay? I was really impressed. At first, I mean, I had to really bite my tongue to vote for Trump in 2016 because, I mean, even people in my family, I was calling them and talking to them, and I'm like, man, are you sure about this guy? He's from New York City. And like the old paste picante sauce, you know, like get a rope, you know, that kind of deal. I'm just kidding, obviously. But, you know, that was what I thought. You know, here's this rich guy who's been a celebrity his whole life, you know, born with a silver spoon, you know, and I thought that he was automatically a bad guy. But the way he governed proved to me that he was not a bad guy. He was not what had been portrayed in the media. because you can't govern like that and make such a turnaround. I believe Trump believes that he's going to make America great again. And what does he mean by that? He means the heyday when he was coming up, when people were more free, when there was less government regulation. I mean, Trump did a lot. He did a lot more than George W. Bush and, 1 and 2, and certainly more than Bill Clinton and anybody probably before him, and maybe even all of them combined. He did more to deregulate the federal government and the United States people. I mean, as far as I remember, or one of the things I remember, I'm pretty sure Trump turned off the thing that Obama had put into place with the EPA banning incandescent light bulbs. I mean, we're talking about the most basic of things, like incandescent light bulbs. That's how it hits you, the end user, in the real world. These government, these politicians that are lining their pockets with these different people, they have a way to get money off of it, whether that's like Nancy Pelosi, where they know they're doing insider trading and they're, finding out, oh, we're fixing to put some regulation on this company, so you better divest from them and you better put some money over here into this weapons manufacturing company because we're fixing to declare war. That's the kind of shit they know that we don't know. And that should be banned outright. There should be a law, no doubt about it, that no insider trading is allowed. That is an unfair advantage that people like Pelosi have used, and it ain't just her. It's everybody except Trump. Trump was the only politician that turned down the paycheck for president, which is not all that much to a guy like Trump. It was like, it's $400,000 a year, I think, last time I checked. Trump turned it down. Who else does that? Would Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden or anybody else, any of these other greedy freaking politicians have turned it down? So, am I saying he's perfect? No. But I think he's going to reverse course on a lot of this terrible stuff that's happened in the last 4 years under Biden and Kamala. On the other side of the razor, you got full-blown Marxism heading rapidly towards a totalitarian type dictatorship. And I'll tell you the truth, guys. Just looking at it, when you look at the two different candidates side by side, one has actually listed their policies and stuff, and they have it on their website, and it's pretty transparent and clear. The other one evades, dodges, misdirects, redirects, blames Trump every time she's asked a direct question. She's not a good speaker. She's definitely not good in interviews. She doesn't seem to have any policies, which makes me think, again, if she wins, if they steal this, like I believe they're going to try to do, this will be a fourth term for Barack Obama, because I think he's the one that's been controlling Joe all this time. All of this stuff reeks of Obama-era politics, okay? Even the way they both speak. Let me be clear. Obama made that famous. If you don't remember, that was one of the things that if you were going to do an impression of Obama, that would be one of the things. Like with Joe Biden, it's, come on, man, that kind of thing, right? You could, well, that was Obama. And then Joe Biden adopted it. He would say it during almost every one of his speeches. Kamala says it 3 or 4 times every time she talks to anyone. She thinks it makes her sound smart. Maybe Obama told her it makes her sound smart when she says that sort of stuff, but let me be clear. Let me be clear. No, and then she's never clear. The difference was Obama was a slick tongue. He could come out and talk the talk and make pretty much everyone come to some sort of like, well, I don't agree with your politics, but the way you said it, I guess, I mean, you're in charge, so I guess go ahead and try that, because he was a smooth talker. And he was the most dangerous one. But that, again, I've mentioned this countless times, but for those of you that don't know, Obama is the only person in modern political history, I'm going to say at least since like way back in the early days of America's founding. In the very, very early days of America's founding, Jefferson and a few others, Adams and people like that, probably kept offices there in D.C. after they got out of office. Obama was the first one in modern times to do that. I mean, think about it. George W., he went back to Texas. Before that, Clinton, I don't know where he went, to Arkansas or whatever. I guess they just kind of fly out. I mean, what am I saying? He went back and forth to Epstein Island a million times. That's where he's been. So, and oh yeah, by the way, Epstein didn't kill himself. The more I see, the more I know everything is a lie. And it makes it difficult to discern what the truth is from the fiction. But I can look at this is an important thing I want you to take away from this. Of course, I think most of the people that watch my channel are probably going to vote the correct way. And I'm not going to say what that is. If you follow my channel, you know what the correct way is. Whether you like the guy or, I'm not going to say that, whatever. Whether you like him or not, you know what the correct way is. Man, we're on the razor's edge, and I don't think people are giving it the attention and the concern that it deserves and needs and warrants. I mean, even that someone as weak as Kamala Harris could be thrust into that position the way that she was seems very suspect. Early on, I haven't heard another peep about it, but early on, when she first, when they first announced that Kamala was going to step in for Joe, and there was going to be no primary, no votes, no nothing, we just decided this is what's going to happen. At that point, all of a sudden, she was trying, I don't know if she succeeded, but she was trying to take all of Joe's donations and bring them in under her umbrella. And Trump filed some FEC or SEC lawsuit or whatever, and I don't know whatever happened on that. Probably nothing, because they can get away with anything. Man, we're in trouble, guys. We are in big trouble. So I know a lot of you have felt in the past that maybe voting, especially after 2020, I mean, we all saw it. Even if none of us have any real concrete proof, there are so many very, very suspicious things that happened in the buildup. And not only that, the fact that because of the mail-in votes, they had to have 3 or 4 extra days to count the votes. Well, the U.S. Constitution says voting day is 1 day. The states are allowed to decide how to do the rules in their state, but the voting day is on 1 day. And I think all those votes and those ballots need to be in and checked in and counted by that day. And by midnight of the day that is slated as election day, midnight on that day, no more votes. Any votes that don't come in between now and then, after midnight, would just not be counted. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that because that's their ace in the hole. I think what they did last time was they waited until everyone went to sleep, and the whole time they were gathering all the data in each of the swing states that they really needed. They didn't do it everywhere. They didn't have to. Only in the most critical swing states that they needed to win. And what did they do? They waited to see how many votes they needed, and then they made sure more than that many showed up. Let's put it this way. There is no way on God's green earth that Joe Biden legitimately got 81 million votes. No way. I think a lot of those were machine generated, and I got to be careful about what I say because I read an article a week or two ago that a certain company that rhymes with Smominion actually will sue your ass if you come after them and you accuse them of any election shenanigans or weird counting or whatever. Now, I don't remember if it's the Ominion company that was the one or not, but I remember about 20 years ago, one of my good friends told me, he goes, "Oh, hey man, did you see this? George Soros's company is buying up all the election machines." And I looked into it, and it wasn't really all of them, but it was like a vast majority. It was a certain company, and I don't remember which company it was. There's like 2 or 3 companies that do a similar thing they operate, control, and supposedly secure the voting machines and make sure that they're counting them properly. But let me tell you something. I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. Hey, Chloe. I was just talking to my wife, and I was saying, I heard that Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying that in some of the early voting down in Texas, several people were reporting that it was voting the opposite. So if they voted Trump, it marked Kamala. And at this polling place in Texas, they actually got a receipt. That's how they figured it out. They put their card or their sheet in the machine, and then a receipt came out and showed them who they supposedly voted for according to the machine, how it counted it, right? And in multiple cases, it was flip-flopped. Yep. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have to go back to black and white beans or what the hell we're going to have to do. But even that, I'm sure there's a way to cheat that system as well. You have extra beans. You buy an extra sack of black beans, or whatever, and you stick them in there when no one's looking, I suppose. It's bizarre to me, growing up in the old school United States, that we've allowed this country to fall so far, so fast. And it didn't just happen in the last 4 years. It's been happening incrementally all of my life, that since I've been able to realize what was going on. We've been going slowly but steadily towards more Marxist policies, more collectivism, more socialism, more government programs, control, regulations, less freedom as a result of that. Less we the people, more we the corporations. We the people with the most money can control your politicians. That is not the spirit of the United States of America. The spirit of the United States of America is 1776. It's self-governance. Yeah, there are risks out there, but if you succeed in your endeavors and you try hard, maybe you'll make it, and you won't be taxed to death for all your income because you do make it. Kamala's plan, her only plan that I've heard her consistently repeat is, we got to make them pay their fair share. Again, Marxism, communism, socialism. That's what her side is all about. I mean, her dad is a Marxist professor. I'm telling you, America, this may be one of my last messages on this point, but this is probably our last chance to save what we have left and at least restore it to somewhat what it was before the COVID. And I was thinking about that too. Did the COVID break the American people? It certainly seems like it when you look around, because when you shut the economy down, of course that drives up prices. When you have supply chain problems like we had during COVID and such, of course that's going to cause major backups and major, downturn in the economy. When you have millions and millions of people displaced because they're not allowed to go to work anymore, or were fired because the company had to shut down because of stupid COVID policies, then you get what you get. And did I think Trump did the best job on the way he responded to COVID? No, I didn't. But I don't think anyone could have, because it was something new that we didn't know how to react to. And he had a lot of the wrong people around him advising him. That's on him, though. But he probably trusted someone that was an ex-George W. Bush person and thought, oh, hey, they work good for Bush. I'll bring in, Brennan, and I'll bring in, all these other deep state people that he shouldn't have brought in. He should have kept Steve Bannon on. And he should have stayed, balls to the wall, keep the liberals on their heels. But instead, he let them turn the tables, and everything was about impeachment. Everything was, it's just unbelievable that our politics have deteriorated to this level. But anyway, I got to go get a drink. My throat's getting dry, but I'm telling you guys, this feels to me like the last chance we've got to pull up from this nosedive. Only thing left is a crash landing, and I think you ought to be preparing for that, because I think it's very likely that the Democrats are going to pull the same bullshit they pulled in 2020. And then when it happens, YouTube is going to react the same way. All the social media companies are going to react the same way. Right now, we can say the election's stolen. And if Trump wins, we'll still be able to say that the election was stolen last time around. And the Democrats will be able to say that Trump stole this election. But if Kamala wins, I mean, they're already indicating that they're the most anti-free speech. This modern Democrat Party are the most anti-free speech people since when? I don't know. I don't know when. Definitely in American history, there's been no precedence for anything like this. So, guys, hang on tight. Stock up while you can. Food, water, fuel, supplies, do whatever you can, because, I mean, if this wicked cockulin hag wins and steals the election and we allow it, the American people allow it again, I don't think we're coming back from it. We're going full-scale World War III. They're going to do every single thing they can to destroy the country. And the reason they're going to do it while she's in power is because everyone knows she's empty. Everyone knows she'll take the blame for everything when America comes crumbling down. And who will be standing there to help us out? Oh, well, the IMF and the New World Order and the UN and the WEF, they'll be all standing there saying, hey, guys, if you agree to all these things, we'll put you on the one world digital currency. It'll be great. You will own nothing and you will be happy. What would the founding fathers think if they could see the current state of the United States of America? Rhetorical question. You probably shouldn't answer it, because it'll probably get your comment deleted or banned or get you on some other stupid government watch list. Of course, I'm on every one because I talk back against it, because I speak truth to power, what I believe is truth. So I may be wrong about everything. Maybe I am. But we do have 4 years of Trump to look at and to compare to 4 years of Biden. And we can decide which life we want. I think I know the one I want. I appreciate you guys. And as always, I stand for liberty to the bitter end. Hope you do too.